Welcome to the Homeless Youth Project. I'm Ron Austin. The Homeless Youth Project is a project of Pan Left Productions in partnership with the Carlos G Figueroa Foundation. The project, Homeless Youth Project that is, the purpose of it is to make aware or bring awareness to the people of Tucson about homeless youths living on the streets of Tucson, Arizona, and that we need to bring about a positive change in the conditions or the living conditions of youths living on the streets. In other words, we need to get them off the streets, possibly get them into housing plus services. So what happens here with the Homeless Youth Project is that we go into the field with video cameras, photographic cameras, audio recording devices, and we go to where the homeless youths are at, and we interview them about their homeless life. They tell you about how the reasons why they had become homeless, why they've had to leave home, the difficulties that they have had during their homeless progression. And the concept is that once we get all these little stories together, all these interviews, and we get enough of them, we will be making a documentary tentatively named Homeless Youth Project, Tucson, Arizona. We will make this a documentary available to schools as a lesson plan so that students can learn more about youth homelessness. We'll make it available to agencies that provide services to homeless youth so they can use it in their education programs. We will also make it available for the common man, woman in the streets to download it to their iPads, iPhones, Android, computers, and whatever other devices that they may be using at the time. So that, and as I say, the whole purpose is for you to understand the realities of the conditions of homeless youth that you do not receive from the mainstream media. Much of this material is really gut-wrenching material that you would absolutely be surprised at what goes on with these youths just trying to survive on a daily basis. I have a video here which I want to show you. And it is one of our short interviews which we did on the streets of Tucson, and its name is Sarah.
Like, a lot of homeless people, we don't eat a lot at all. Like, maybe once a day if we're lucky, and it's not a lot. It's probably like something somebody found in the dumpster behind Brooklyn, or something that somebody gave them that's a house kid, but they already ate over there, so they don't want it, so they're trying to pass it on to somebody else. Something somebody finds. The food bags that come out. I mean, there's people that drive around with sack lunches in their cars and they give them out to us. That helps so much. You don't even know, it helps so much. There's people at Stone Park that do it. There's all kinds of feeds, but there's just not enough. Like, there's not enough anything really. You know, there's not enough places to shower. I mean, I had friends, so I was lucky. There's not enough of, like, you know, anything like hygiene products, because you go through them or you lose them or stuff gets stolen or the cops burn your stuff or they wash it away with water, or it rains, or something happens to it. Something's always happening to something. Whatever you get that's new, like, something happens to it. Lighters, cigarettes, anything you leave, something's going to happen to it. That sucks too, because in our life it's not about replacing our DVD player because it's broken and we have to have a new one, or paying our cable bill, or because you have to have cable. We don't have all that stuff. I was lucky to have a phone and not have it get stolen. Like, And if all your stuff gets stolen, all you have is the clothes on your back and you have to start all over again. And it's like, man. Just that a lot of times while I was homeless, I experienced some, it's really small, it's not that big a thing, but if you see a homeless person and you're carrying leftovers of your food, and like you see a homeless person and you know you're not going to really eat it, if you go up to them and hand it to them, it's going to make their day. You know, like, I mean, and it's good karma. That was the thing that was just the most unreal, is one time I got kicked out of a hotel with 4 people and we were sitting on the side of the roads with our bags, and one lady pulled over, handed us $20, right? And then seeing that we were freaking out because this chick just handed us $20, oh my gosh, we can all eat, right? And for like 2 days with $20, you can make $20 last 2 days on the street, like if you really try, if you know what you're doing with it. But then she handed us $37 more. Another lady, I was at El Rio, she handed me and Jordan $20, my boyfriend Jordan, and said, go get your baby some diapers. And we got him some wipes and we washed his clothes, and we bought little baby food things for him and stuff. So, you know, like, not just money, just food. Like, it's crazy how, like, you paying your cable bill or you getting your $300 check every week can make you happy, but doing that for somebody who's sitting on the street, like, yeah, that's cool. That's the coolest thing that's ever happened, is people just handing us food just out of just us.
Ah, yes, there you are. Okay, that was Sarah. That was just one of our many videos that we've taken of homeless youth on the streets of Tucson. And as you can see from what she said, the problem is getting enough of anything. Now, if you ever thought that you wanted to help homeless people on the streets of Tucson, now you have the opportunity. I mean, you know, it's the giving season, Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays, okay? People generally open up during this part of the year. You can do so also. How can you help these youths on the street? Well, there are organizations out there that you can bring your cans of food to, clothing, blankets that you would normally throw away because you bought new stuff. There's Stand Up for Kids. There's Youth on Their Own. There's Open In. Look these people up. Look these groups up in the telephone book. Give them a call. Find out what they need, okay? And they do need a lot, because, you know, funding for these groups have depreciated greatly due to our political and economic situation that we're living in these days. And, you know, if you want to comment on this video, if you want to ask questions, there's a telephone number down at the bottom of your screen. Call that number, and we can have a discussion about this video or about homelessness in general. I mean, you know, I'm a formerly homeless individual myself, and a recovering crack addict of 18 years, okay? So I was in double jeopardy. Fortunately, I was not a youth that was homeless. I was an adult, but I ran into many, many youths that were homeless on the streets, and many of their stories are dreadful, hard to listen to, really difficult to comprehend what homeless youth has gone through. But as you heard Sarah, she says, you know, they don't hardly have enough of anything, okay, just to survive, okay? You know, with youths as with adults, it's a 24/7 struggle just to get enough food, get enough clothing to last, okay? Socks, underwear, shirts, or even just something warm to wear. It's always a difficult proposition. The agencies that provide services to them, they provide what they can, but they don't have enough. They don't have nowhere near enough. Only through your assistance, your help, can they possibly even start to touch the core of the problem of want. I want to impress upon you the need to help these youths, okay? To provide them with enough of something in order to survive, to give them some sort of feeling for being able to survive the next day, okay? Many of them don't even know if they're going to survive the next 24 hours because of their lack in material substance just to keep them going, okay? You have that ability. You have that ability. You have the means in order to help them in some sort of way. Even the poor of us, the poorest of us, have something that is cast away that can be used by some homeless youth on the street. Okay, call those agencies. Okay, and if you want to see more of these videos, you can go to FigueroaFoundation.com. That's at the bottom of your screen, or you can go to YouTube and go to the Homeless Champion, one word, Homeless Champion, and you'll see all of our videos either on our website at FigueroaFoundation.com or on our page at YouTube. And you will see all the dreadful stories about youths having been put out of their homes, hear about all the dreadful things that they have to go through in order just to survive on the streets in Tucson. It's unacceptable. We can't allow our children to exist on the street with nothing but their own company. Children can't raise themselves. We know that. And we also know, welcome to the Homeless Youth Project.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I called up another show and I talked to you and the one lady who was on. My name's Dennis.
Oh,
you remember me?
oh yes, yeah. When I had Kathleen Dreyer on,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
I just wanted to say, I mean, it's pretty sad that, I see, people who will, feed, stray animals, stray cats and stuff, and they're willing to put food out for them. But then you have a human being who's homeless and hungry, and they just turn their back and walk away.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, isn't it?
It is pretty sad. And I have an opinion about that, and because I've thought about that quite a bit myself, and I think what that is that many of us who are generally like one paycheck from homelessness, we are fearful of even coming in contact with homeless people because there but for the grace of God go I,
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I think what happens is that many of them can see, if they allow themselves to see, where they could be at some point in their lives if circumstances turn worse than what they are.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, I mean, a shame that, the government doesn't do anything for, homeless people, you know what I mean? Youth and I mean, most of the homeless, adults are all veterans.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a shame, that the government just, turns their back and doesn't do, much for them at all. Or like I say, youth, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. I guess that's society today. It's a sad thing to say, but that's the way our society it seems to be. Care about ourselves and not anybody else.
Yes, unfortunately, that is the case. I mean, our politicians have got their own agendas, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And many of those agendas are based upon the deep pockets of mega corporations.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. They care less about the average person or the poor person, you know what I mean?
Right.
They want to keep people, they want to keep the more middle class that they have, the better it is for them because we're the ones who pay everything, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Exactly.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, I was thinking that I mean, here, you see people willing to feed a stray cat, and then, a stray, youth, they run scared from, or they talk down to about, you know what I mean? I mean, they're just lucky that they weren't in that situation, you know what I mean?
That's correct. That's
It could happen to any one of us at any time,
That's right.
Really, But like I said last show, and like I'll say again, I pray for them. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I pray for them, and hopefully someday, you know, I mean, our society will you know, do something to help those poor people. You know what I mean? That's what God intended us to do, to help the poor. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
All right, sir. It was good talking to you, and I'll call you again next show, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Welcome to the Homeless Youth Project.
Say, man, this is Mike Walker, man. It's a good thing what you do, man. You know, family, man.
Wait a second.
It's good, man. I've been seeing you on TV, man. I'm proud. My name is Mike Walker.
Michael. Yeah, okay. Welcome, Mike. Yes. Thank you.
Hey, man, it's good that you're doing for the youth, big bro.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, brother.
I got your number. I'll call you.
Okay. All right. All right. So, yeah, so just as our first caller mentioned, you know, that it's really, our society has gotten really bad when we can't feed our own youths in the street, okay? As he said, you know, so we'll put food out for a stray dog or a stray cat, but we won't feed our own youth that are in the street. You know, they say that, I've said this before and I'll continue to say it, that it is said that it takes a village to raise a child, and this village needs to do something about our children, our youths that are in the street. And I say children also because they're not all teenagers, okay? They're not all teenagers. There are some very young kids out there in the street that you would not even possibly believe, okay? It's difficult for us to get videos of them because they've been used and abused by adults, and they don't trust authority figures. And therefore it's very difficult to get them on camera. And then there's also different issues involving confidentiality and stuff of that sort involved. So there are many youths, many young, very young people on the streets just trying to survive. And as I said before, they can't raise themselves, okay? They can't raise themselves. We know that children can't raise themselves. These youths, they band together in groups for safety and for comfort, okay? And they raise each other in the process. Now you know that's wrong, okay? You know they're going to go wrong in the process of growing up, okay? Without an adult, a responsible adult in their lives to help them form themselves into someone that would be useful to themselves, and not only themselves but also society. You know that's wrong. You know, they will become eventually become pariahs on the streets, okay? Maybe end up in prison, maybe doing drugs and alcohol and such of that nature without any restraint whatsoever other than the restraint they place on themselves. And we know that youth can't restrain themselves, okay? We know this, okay? We need to bring them back into the fold, okay? Because if we do not bring these youths back into the fold, they will grow to hate us one day, okay? And they will become a thorn in our side. They will become a drain on society. They'll become a drain on the law enforcement system, on the healthcare system, on the social service system, okay? They will cost us much more money in the end than if we would have spent the money in the beginning to help bring them up properly. So, you know, as I said, you know, only you have the power to do this. I mean, we can't expect the politicians to bring about any positive change, okay? If we want positive change, that has to come from you and me, okay? The man and the woman in the street, okay? We need to band together. We need to get our little groups together, the groups in churches and the various other agencies that have groups, and we need to educate ourselves on the realities of homelessness. We need to call the various shelters around town, you know, the various groups that do provide services to the homeless. And we need to ask them questions. We need to visit them so that we can see the realities, okay? So that we can feel what is actually going on. You know, the mainstream media, they don't show you the reality of homelessness. Every time you see homelessness represented in the mainstream media, it is showing some disheveled looking individual panhandling on the street, washing car windows, okay? Or maybe some individual has killed somebody else, or they show you the camps that are all disheveled and they're being bulldozed by the city. All you see is the negative images. You don't see any positive images, and there are many of them out there. You don't see the homeless people well dressed, okay, looking for work, okay, trying to emerge back into the mainstream, okay, well dressed, articulate people, knowing what they want, knowing that they want to get back into the mainstream, okay. There are many youths that want to get back into the mainstream. But they need the training. They need to be brought out of the streets and rehabilitated after living in the streets for so long, okay? And they need to be taught how to emerge back in the mainstream properly. You know, but as I say, only you and I can force the politicians to do what they need to do for our society. Now you notice during the recent presidential campaigns, all that was talked about was the middle class, okay? Raising the middle class, keeping the middle class stable, okay? But nothing was ever mentioned, hardly ever, if ever, I never heard it, anything mentioned about those classes that are below the middle class, okay? The poor and the impoverished and the homeless, okay? They are our people also. Those politicians in our city government, in our state government, in our federal government, they have a responsibility to all citizens, not just the middle class. They have a responsibility to help uplift all citizens. That includes the homeless and the impoverished and those others, people who are lacking, okay? And we need to bring about a change in that. You and I, okay, we need to get together and educate ourselves, as I just said, okay? Learn of the realities of homelessness and poverty, and influence our politicians to do what they need to do in order to bring about a positive change in the conditions that are existing within our own midst, okay, outside of our own doors. Every time you go by a Circle K or a Quick Mart or go downtown, you're always passing homeless people, okay? And you have no idea how many homeless youths you are passing, okay? It's just that I don't know how to impress upon you any more than what I have, the need for us to bring about a change. A positive change. We need to get those kids off the streets, okay? We need to get them off the streets into housing plus services. Housing plus services, that's the answer, okay? We need to go out there, we need to band together with our churches, with law enforcement, with volunteers, with people, other interested people who live in Tucson, and actually go out into the streets and pull these youth back in. Anyway, I want to thank you very much for watching the Homeless Youth Project. All right, we'll be on again next month. Off the top of my head, I should have the date when we will be on again, but unfortunately I don't. So if you're on Facebook, look up the Carlos G Figueroa Foundation, and you will receive notice when we will be on again next month. We're on once a month. Thank you. Thank you very much.